The wind howled through the ruins of Theta 9, carrying the acrid stench of burning metal and flesh. Commander Elias Rourke crouched behind the shattered remains of a transport vehicle, his pulse rifle pressed against his chest. His breath came in sharp bursts. The battlefield stretched before him, broken structures, bodies half buried in rubble, and the flickering remnants of human defiance. Above, Zarquin warships loomed like vultures, their blue searchlights sweeping across the wreckage. The final purge had begun. A voice crackled through his comms. "Rourke, we're in position." That was Lieutenant Harper, one of the last warriors still standing. He and the remaining fighters had taken shelter in the ruins, waiting for the signal. Rourke exhaled. "Hold steady. We hit them in 60 seconds. His eyes locked onto the command spire at the center of the enemy-occupied city. That tower controlled the orbital bombardments, and if they could take it down, they might buy time for the last human survivors. Maybe even a way off this graveyard. But time wasn't on their side. A rumble shook the ground. Rourke turned just in time to see a massive Zarquin enforcer, a towering alien in advanced combat armor, marching through the ruins. Its glowing visor scanned the area. If it spotted them, their mission was over. He tapped his comm. "Harper, wait for my mark." He edged around the wreckage, stepping over the body of a fallen soldier. Sergeant Kane. The man had fought beside him for 6 years. His rifle was still clutched in his lifeless grip. Rourke swallowed hard, gripping his own weapon tighter. There was no time for grief. The enforcer's gaze swept past his hiding spot. Not yet. A distant explosion rocked the far side of the city. The alien turned its head toward the noise. Now. Rourke sprang up, leveling his rifle. 3 rapid shots slammed into the enforcer's visor. The first 2 deflected off its energy shields. The third pierced through. The alien collapsed with a guttural roar. "Go!" Rourke barked. Harper and the squad surged forward from the ruins, moving fast and low. Gunfire erupted. Zarquin sentries responded, their plasma rounds sizzling through the air. The resistance fighters returned fire, cutting down enemies as they pushed toward the spire. Rourke sprinted alongside them, his boots pounding against the cracked pavement. The battlefield blurred, gunfire, shouting, the scent of ozone from plasma burns. Every second counted. They reached the outer barricade. Rourke slammed against the steel cover, breathing hard. "Harper, explosives." The lieutenant nodded, pulling a charge from his vest. He pressed it against the barricade and primed it. Beep. 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 Boom. The blast tore through the blockade, sending debris flying. Without hesitation, the squad poured through the gap, cutting down the Zarquin soldiers on the other side. They were inside. The command spire loomed ahead, a dark monolith of alien design. Its shield generators hummed, protecting the control center within. "Rourke, movement on R6. He turned just as another squad of Zarquin enforcers charged from the flank. Energy weapons lit up the night. One of his men, Rodriguez, took a blast to the chest, his body crumpling before he could scream. Rourke gritted his teeth. "Hold the line. Keep pushing." They reached the entrance. Harper placed another charge, but before he could arm it, a gunshot rang out. Harper stumbled back, blood spreading across his chest. He hit the ground hard. Rourke spun, his rifle trained, only to freeze. Standing at the rear of the squad was Lieutenant Kessler. A human. One of their own. His pistol was still aimed where Harper had stood. His expression was calm. Unapologetic. "You shouldn't have come, Rourke." Betrayal cut deeper than any bullet. "You sold us out," Rourke growled. Kessler holstered his weapon. "I made a deal. The Zarquin don't have to kill all of us. Some of us can live, if we surrender." Rourke took a step forward, anger rising like fire in his chest. "You think they'll let you live? After what they've done?" Kessler's jaw tightened. "I'm choosing survival." You're choosing cowardice. Before Kessler could respond, a siren blared from the spire. The Zarquin reinforcements were coming. The window was closing. Harper, bleeding out on the ground, coughed. He reached out, gripping Rourke's arm. Finish it. Rourke clenched his fists. No time. No mercy. In one swift motion, he raised his rifle. Bang. Kessler collapsed, a single shot between the eyes. His body hit the dirt like the traitor he was. Rourke turned to the squad. Blow the damn door. Harper, with the last of his strength, pressed the detonator. Boom. The entrance to the spire shattered. Time to end this. Rourke stepped through the smoke, his rifle raised. Failure? No. Humanity wasn't finished yet. The explosion left a gaping hole in the spire's entrance. Smoke and dust swirled in the air, illuminated by the flickering blue emergency lights lining the walls. Commander Elias Rourke led the charge inside, gripping his pulse rifle tight. There was no turning back now. Behind him, his dwindling squad followed, their movements precise despite exhaustion. They had lost too many. Harper was gone. Rodriguez was gone. The betrayal still burned like acid in Rourke's veins, but there was no time for grief. Survive now. Mourn later. The interior of the Zarquin command spire was unlike anything Rourke had seen before. Alien architecture coiled around itself, walls pulsing with an eerie bioluminescence. Strange glyphs flickered across surfaces, shifting and twisting as if alive. The air smelled sharp, metallic, unnatural. Keep moving, Rourke ordered. His voice was steady, but his mind raced. The goal was clear: reach the control chamber, disable the defense systems, and call for evacuation. They moved in formation, weapons raised, boots silent against the metallic flooring. Then, a sound. A clicking, rhythmic and unsettling. Contact, whispered Private Jensen, his rifle aimed down the corridor. From the shadows emerged a Zarquin stalker. Unlike the brutish enforcers, this creature was built for speed and precision. Its elongated limbs flexed unnaturally, serrated claws scraping the walls. Its reflective black carapace made it nearly impossible to spot in the dim lighting. It was hunting them. Light it up. Rourke snapped. The corridor exploded with gunfire. Bright red tracers ripped through the air. The stalker moved with unnatural speed, twisting and leaping, until Jensen landed a direct shot to its thorax. The alien shrieked, its body convulsing before it slumped against the wall. Dead. But the noise had drawn attention. A deep, guttural alarm rumbled through the spire. The walls shifted, as if sensing intruders. Somewhere in the distance, the heavy stomp of approaching reinforcements echoed through the corridors. They had minutes. Move, now! Rourke barked. They sprinted through the twisting passageways, passing organic conduits that pulsed with energy. The spire felt alive, as if it were a single, massive organism, watching them. Judging them. A sudden whoosh of air. And the ceiling split open. Zarquin sentinels dropped from above, their sleek armor catching the dim blue light. Plasma fire erupted instantly. Rourke dove for cover behind a curved console, feeling the heat of an energy blast scorch past his head. Suppressing fire. Jensen yelled, firing into the advancing enemy line. The battle was chaos. Plasma bolts scorched the walls. Pulse rounds tore into alien flesh. One of Rourke's men, Corporal Diaz, screamed as a bolt tore through his side. He collapsed, smoke rising from the wound. Damn it. Rourke gritted his teeth. He spotted a break in the enemy formation, a chance. Jensen, grenade. Jensen didn't hesitate. He pulled a high-impact charge from his belt and hurled it. Boom. A shockwave tore through the sentinels, flinging them against the walls like ragdolls. The squad didn't waste time. They ran. The control chamber was near. Rourke could feel it. They reached a large circular door, its surface etched with strange symbols. At its center, a floating Zarquin interface pulsed with energy. The lock. Jensen rushed forward, pulling a hacking module from his pack. He plugged it into the interface, fingers flying over the device. Come on, Jensen muttered. Rourke turned, rifle raised. The corridor behind them was eerily silent. Too silent. A bad sign. Then, the walls opened. Zarquin wraiths emerged, their forms flickering like phantoms. Their stealth generators distorted the air around them, making them difficult to track. They were assassins. Rourke fired first, but the wraith dodged, moving faster than human reflexes could predict. Jensen cursed. Almost got it. A wraith lunged, a curved blade flashing in the dim light. Rourke barely managed to knock Jensen aside before the blade sliced into his shoulder armor. Pain exploded through his body. He twisted, firing point-blank into the wraith's chest. The creature shrieked and collapsed, but two more closed in. Jensen, now! Beep. Beep. Click. The door slid open. Go! Rourke shouted, covering their retreat with a hail of gunfire. The squad pushed inside, sealing the door just as another plasma bolt sizzled through the gap. Silence. Rourke exhaled sharply, clutching his bleeding shoulder. They had made it. But they weren't safe yet. The control chamber was massive, its walls lined with pulsating alien nodes. At its center, an enormous control console hovered, linked to the Zarquin planetary defenses. This was it. Their only chance. Jensen staggered forward, plugging the hacking module into the console. His hands trembled. I can shut down their orbital cannons. Give us an opening. Rourke wiped sweat from his brow. Do it. The screens flickered. The alien script twisted, resisting the intrusion. Then, a cold voice filled the chamber. Impressive. The squad turned. Standing at the far end of the room was Overlord Kthel, the Zarquin commander. 7 feet tall. Cloaked in dark armor. His piercing obsidian eyes gleamed with something close to amusement. Behind him, 2 elite guards stood, their energy blades humming. They had walked into a trap. Jensen stiffened. Commander. Rourke didn't lower his weapon. Finish the override. Kthel stepped forward. You fight like dying animals. Futile. Your species is over, Commander Rourke. Rourke smirked, despite the pain. We're still here, aren't we? Kthel tilted his head. Not for long. The elites moved. The final battle had begun. The air inside the control chamber crackled with tension. Overlord Kthel stood tall, his black armor gleaming under the pulsating alien light. His 2 elite guards, weapons humming with deadly energy, flanked him like wraiths. Commander Rourke gritted his teeth, gripping his rifle despite the burning pain in his shoulder. They were outnumbered. Outgunned. Trapped. But not beaten. Not yet. Behind him, Jensen worked furiously at the console, his hacking module splicing into the Zarquin systems. He had to finish overriding the planetary defenses, or they were all dead. Kthel's voice was calm, almost amused. Your struggle is pointless, human. Surrender, and I may grant you a swift death. Rourke wiped blood from his lip. Yeah? I was about to say the same to you. The Overlord's obsidian eyes narrowed. Kill them. The elites charged. Rourke fired first, pulse rounds tearing through the air. One elite dodged effortlessly, vanishing in a blur. A split second later, it reappeared behind him, blade swinging. Rourke twisted, barely raising his rifle in time. Metal clashed against composite, the force sending him staggering back. The elite was fast. Too fast. Jensen shouted from the console. Almost there. Work faster. Rourke snapped, ducking under another swipe. He rolled, coming up on one knee, and fired. A clean shot, straight through the elite's chest. It fell. But the second one was already there. Corporal Diaz moved to intercept, knife in hand. The elite swung its blade, too fast to block. Diaz grunted as the energy sword tore into his side, burning through armor. "No!" Jensen screamed. Diaz fell, coughing blood. His eyes locked on Rourke. No words. Just a nod. Then he pulled the pin on a grenade. The explosion engulfed them both. The blast threw Rourke against the console. His ears rang. His vision blurred. He struggled to rise, but his body felt like fire. Only one enemy remained. Fell. The Overlord stood untouched, his armor shimmering as he stepped forward. His blade ignited, casting a cruel light across his angular face. Humans, he mused. Always so desperate. Always so foolish. Rourke spat blood onto the floor. And yet we're still here. Kfell didn't reply. He simply lunged. Rourke dodged, barely. The Overlord's blade carved through the air, missing him by inches. Rourke retaliated, firing point blank. The Overlord's personal shield flared, absorbing the impact. A second later, Kfell's fist slammed into Rourke's chest. Pain. White-hot and brutal. Rourke collapsed, gasping for air. Jensen's voice cut through the haze. "I got it." The chamber's lights flickered violently. The alien glyphs shifted, their patterns distorting. The Zarquin planetary defenses had been disabled. The fleet could attack. Rourke's vision swam as he looked up at Kfell, who had gone rigid. Shock. Realization. Rage. "You would rather destroy everything than accept defeat?" Rourke smirked. "Welcome to humanity." Then, with the last of his strength, he pulled his knife and drove it straight into Kfell's neck. The Overlord's eyes widened. His mouth opened, but no words came. Black ichor spilled down his chest. Kfell staggered, then collapsed. Dead. Silence filled the chamber. Jensen stared, wide-eyed. "Holy." Rourke forced himself up, barely staying on his feet. "Call the fleet." Jensen activated his comms. "This is Alpha Squad. We've shut down enemy defenses. Repeat, target is vulnerable. Light him up." From above, the first human warships descended. The battle for Earth had begun. And this time, humanity wasn't losing.